Good evening, ladies. In today's video, we're going to be discussing an upcoming massive opportunity in the form of a new AI project called Nillion. And as you probably, if you've been watching my videos over the last year, you've seen that I've been extremely vocally bullish on crypto X AI, as well as meme coins deep in, but they're the kind of three sectors I'm most interested in for this cycle at the moment. Maybe a few other sectors as they pop up start taking off, but crypto X AI really slept on at the moment, but definitely going to be one of the biggest narratives of the cycle. Everyone knows it, and not many people are paying attention. This is a slightly hyped project, but not really that hyped. So I'm going to give you everything you need to know in regards to Nillion, which could be the backbone of a lot of decentralized AI projects. And yeah, as I said, it's dropping in a couple of weeks, so I want you to be well prepared and to know what it is on a fundamental level, and so you can decide whether or not you think it's at a fair valuation to buy for yourself. So like I said, I've been very bullish on decentralized compute platforms like Akash, Solana and Render, of course, but there is some drawbacks when it comes to decentralized compute, and this is like one of the top categories within AI X crypto. But the main problem being is, like, although it sounds really good on paper that you can give your spare compute power to a decentralized AI network and sell it and people can use it for their AI, the problem is that a lot of centralized servers or centralized cloud providers providing the compute is much more effective for AI inference and AI training because they're clustered together, and that's actually what you need for AI compute. So decentralized compute is not potentially as amazing as it sounds on paper. There are some drawbacks, so kind of looking at other avenues for AI, and one avenue that a decentralized platform really and blockchain really actually helps when it comes to AI is private compute, and that's exactly what Nillion is offering. So imagine you want to create an AI assistant that knows everything about you. It's like your super genius friendly twin. So it's basically you. It knows everything about you, and you can ask it any question. It's going to answer specifically tailored towards you. Now, how is an AI going to be trained to be exactly like you? You're going to have to give this AI all your data, and there's different levels of data that you can give. So for example, there's level 1 data, level 2 data, and level 3 data. So level 1 data is probably your tweets, your images that you put online, your blog articles, like anything that's kind of public data that you put online. It's not super private, and most people would be willing to share that with big tech companies because they already have shared it. And then level 2 would be like your passwords, your transaction history, your emails maybe. And then level 3 is like your extremely private data, so that would be like your messages to your loved ones, probably your emails in there as well. You can read the different levels of data that there are, and essentially a personalized AI assistant would need access to all your data, including the level 3 data. And I don't know about you, but I think most people would not feel too comfortable about sharing their data with a big tech company like OpenAI or Microsoft or Google, etc. They'd feel a little bit, and with good reason, you would be hesitant to share all that data. And the reason being, there's always data breaches. Even in these massive tech companies, there's data breaches, and if your level 3 data falls into the wrong hands, that can be catastrophic. You can get blackmailed, you can get your assets stolen, whatever, it's definitely not a good idea. Now that's where Nillion comes in, and it's going to offer this blind compute solution. So as you can see, this is actually one of the areas in which AI with blockchain or AI with crypto actually has a real use case, actually has a proper advantage, in the fact that people are pretty hesitant to trust big tech, but they are much more hesitant to trust cryptographically secure blockchain protocols that are, that they can see the code to and is well trusted at that point because it's all open source. So Nillion actually uses a combination of FHE, which we've talked about before, zero knowledge proofs, and MPC. So these are all kind of privacy implementations when it comes to blockchain, when it comes to encryption, and it actually uses a combination of all three, and you kind of need all three for this to actually work. So basically it kind of divides up your data into various nodes, and the data can't be accessed unless you have the key to that data. So it's actually masked, the data. So your data is masked, and on top of that, not only is the data that you're inputting masked when it goes into the AI, but the actual AI model itself can also be masked, or can also be, because say you have a very good AI model to create a personalized AI assistant as an example that is tailored specifically towards any person, you probably don't want that model to be copied, you don't want that model to be easily extractable, so the model itself can be masked as well. So on both ends, the model and the data can be privately computed. So you can put in your data and you can ask a question, so it creates this AI assistant, the model creates the AI assistant, but no one can access that model and no one can access your data. So the inference, so like whatever question you're asking the AI, is going to be verifiably secure, and the model's output is also going to come back to you in a verifiably secure manner. But it's not just like AI assistants tailored to you. It's obviously a huge use case, so obviously really useful, but it's not just that will want or need blind compute in the future. Like, see, these are some of the other crypto related AI projects that would benefit from blind compute. So you can kind of think of Nillion as a chain link for AIX crypto. So Chainlink was kind of used by all the DeFi platforms. So Chainlink to DeFi is kind of the same way Nillion is to AIX crypto. Nillion already has some massive partnerships already. Some examples include Rainfall. So Rainfall essentially is a project that pays you to share your data with them. And when they've partnered now with Nillion, they can ensure that the data that you're sharing with them remains private. So they just take the data, but they're not able to read the data, but they're able to feed it to their model and improve their models. So that's how that would work with Rainfall. The next one is Virtual. Similarly with Virtuals, you might have heard of that project. This is actually creating AI agents. And again, with the partnership with Nillion, you're going to be able to give the data in a secure manner and train the AI models, train the AI agents with your data in a secure manner. And one of the most recent partnerships, which was actually quite big, is another project that I'm actually very interested in called Ritual. So basically what Ritual does, Ritual allows you to prove that the model was actually used and that the data was actually used. So obviously a big problem with decentralized AI inferences and decentralized AI in general is that there's no way to prove that you actually used the model that you wanted to use. Like, you gave the data or you gave the question and maybe it uses a shitty model, or potentially it changes the data that you fed it and puts in some other data. So with Ritual, it's going to verify that the actual data that you wanted to be used is the data that it did use, and the model that you wanted to use is the model that it actually used. So this would avoid a poisoning attack where someone inputs an incorrect piece of data that you didn't want to be input through the model and spits you out the wrong answer. Now, we have to be aware that there is a lot of competition in this sector. Nillion looks like one of the better ones, but you know, there's a lot of different projects working on similar ideas. So that's just probably all of them, but that's a few of them there. But let's talk about the tokenomics and can you actually buy this coin yet? So you can't buy this coin at the moment. It hasn't dropped and it's not trading yet. And the pre-sale for it is already ended, so it's too late for that. But the pre-sale was at a $400 million valuation. There's 1 billion tokens, and I think 3.5% could have been invested in by the general public. So you can kind of think of that almost like an ICO. So the nice thing about Nillion is that they're not giving a massive advantage to VCs. I think the VCs have a longer lockup than the retail who bought it early. And as we know, retail tend to be more diamond handers than VCs. So when it does drop, if it's trading well above 400 million, we can know that people are massively in profit. But if it's trading in and around 400 million, we can say, okay, potentially people aren't in massive profits, so they'd be less inclined to sell. So I'm going to be very much keeping an eye on it. Nillion, the token is dropping within the next few weeks, in August anyway. That's when it's planned to release. It's a really, really interesting project in the fact that it's going to be like the backbone for a lot of crypto and AI. And Ansem has been going crazy on it. He's really, really bullish on Nillion. So it's one of those few AI projects that has real substance and has a lot of smart people interested in the project. So I do think it's definitely one to watch out for. So that's all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.